Coming up on Lights, Camera, Akron.
We feature a nearby art studio you may not have heard of.
Speaking of art, we also had the opportunity to see the latest project at the Myers School of Art on campus.
And one of our reporters got to meet a Medal of Honor recipient who will be making an appearance at the University of Akron.
All that and more coming up on Lights, Camera, Akron.
Welcome to the new Lights, Camera, Akron. I'm Matt Barnhart alongside my co-host, Kara Riccardi.
We have a great show for everyone today, bringing you the latest happenings in Akron.
We start off featuring an art studio in Richfield.
Last week, I got to tour Elegant Ice Creations with Aaron Kostick, and this week, I had the chance to tour the Richfield Art Studio with his wife, Sarah Kostick. Check it out.
I desired to create a space within a community that people interested and passionate about art could come and be supportive in a fun, friendly environment and offer them the very best of equipment and materials. So we created an optimal setting from which people could come out of their busy lives to enjoy the art of making something from scratch, from their own hands. Our artwork is meaningful, it's handcrafted, and we were also very thoughtful about where we buy our materials to produce our artwork. And in that I mean all of our clay is harvested from the United States and it is FDA approved, as well as our glazes. We're very careful what kind of glazes do we put on our pottery, because we know it's going to go into somebody's home and become part of their collection. They'll be cooking food for their family, and that's an important thing for us to consider as artists, is what we are then sending home as a safe, artful project, or art piece of art that you could cook something in and feel good about it. When you're buying pottery here, it's not only a beautiful work of art, but it's also something that's safe and good for the environment as well.
The Richfield Art Studio is also a place that University of Akron students can enjoy.
It would be a studio outside of school. So if you have a studio space at school, or say you've just graduated and you need a new studio space, you could come and you create your artwork here. You could also have like a fun reunion here where everybody is like sculpting a mug or glazing a dish or all working on the potter's wheel. So it's kind of an unusual, unique place to have entertainment, as well as like if you just really wanted a place to come as an artist. I am proud of the people who find our place and celebrate it and discover right away the potential for themselves and how it can enrich their lives. And that gives me a lot of joy every day to see who decides to stop at our door and come in and check us out and get a tour, and then oftentimes join in on a class or bring their family for a celebration.
This has been Kara Riccardi for Lights, Camera, Akron. You know, Matt, I think it's really important that students on campus know that in the surrounding cities of Akron, there is a lot to do.
Yeah, actually out in North Canton, a lot of my friends go to SkyMax, which is a indoor trampoline park.
Oh.
Trampolines on the ground, trampolines on the wall. They do a lot of stuff with gymnastics. Just a lot of fun. If you want to go spend some energy, spend some cash, that's the place to go. I'm
actually from North Canton, and I've never even heard of that.
Really?
I'm going to have to try it out.
That's great.
Switching back to on-campus happenings, the Myers School of Art just finished a brand new installation.
Julie YOCKEY has the story.
Resident artist Julie Schenkelberg joined students at the University of Akron's Myers School of Fine Arts in a collaborative installation that transformed memories into a 3D landscape.
At some point, sculpture became my full-time life, and other jobs I had went away, and sculpture became the primary means of going forward, which is an amazing opportunity. But I was trained so classically in painting and art history that I didn't realize that what contemporary art was, that I could express myself in a different kind of medium. And I thought, I'm going to do whatever I want to express myself in this great way and share it.
Throughout her time here on campus, Schenkelberg challenged students to visualize their memories by asking what color it would be, how it would look, where the memory took place, and even what the climate would be like.
I asked each of them to access a memory that they would like to present on the three-dimensional realm, and I used language with them, such as it can be a really positive memory, it could be a very difficult memory, and we're here to honor the memory or transform what the memory is, to give it life, transform, and release it. Each idea that the students have is all connected to family, relating to their family and place and history.
One student's inspiration came from wanting to replicate a memory of working in the garden with his grandmother. Another, growing up by railroad tracks. However, not all memories were pleasant. One student recreated the memory of being abused and what that felt like to her. And another recreated the struggles of growing up transgender.
They did go through what I felt was a healing process and a transformation. Even the memories that were very positive, they were alive in front of them, and the memories were to them so far in the past, and there they are looking at a version of it, and using materials that they're unaccustomed to, illustrating their ideas. And I think they felt really empowered. And what I also witnessed was each student honoring each other. Like, it was a real collaboration.
Schenkelberg was able to collaborate with Myers School of Art thanks to Kate Budd, who was the head of the Myers Residency Program.
Julie's really been a manager and kind of pulled all this stuff together and just connected with the students in the way that I don't think many other people could. Like, they've opened up to her, you know, and she's fallen in love with them, but don't tell them that.
This has been Julie YOCKEY for Lights Camera Akron.
Wow. Julie Schenkelberg is an amazing artist that we got to showcase here. And you know what? We have our very own Jules to tell us all about it.
Hello. Yes, actually, Julie, although she's a visiting resident artist, she's from the Cleveland area. And so, yeah, so she actually decided when she was invited to come here to do this the kind of residency with our students. And it kind of all stems from her kind of childhood and what she wanted to bring, and I'm kind of working through memories and history and family ancestry, if you will. So she does these massive installations, and it looks like what maybe you and I would consider as discarded materials, such as concrete or plaster or broken dishes and doors, whatever. And she puts it in a way that you and I would be like, oh, if we put a bunch of stones and rubble on the floor, it would look like rubble.
That's crazy. So she can just take a pile of rubbish and garbage and transform it into something beautiful.
Absolutely. So you should definitely check it out, and so should everybody else, because it's only here till Saturday.
I can't wait to check it out. And we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Lights Camera Akron.
UA's College of Engineering is always looking for new ways to raise the bar.
I was able to collaborate with a fellow show, 300 Seconds of Science, to see their latest innovations. Hello, I'm Matthew Barnhart, and we are on 300 Seconds of Science with Taya Myers. She is intelligent, 179 IQ. She's going to be able to tell us all of what we need to know about the ins and outs of the University of Akron's science department, engineering, and anything like that. Taya, what do you have for us?
Recent underground utility fires and exploding manholes has led the University of Akron to conduct some research for a solution for them.
Let's dive back in on that. What's causing this problem?
Well, underground is such an oxygen-poor environment that promotes incomplete combustion and the production of carbon dioxide.
Aha, see, I'm no scientist, but with all that carbon dioxide down there, I think I know what happens next.
This can lead to the unintentional burning of underground cables, which causes the fires to happen, and it can also cause mass power outages.
We got the chance to talk with the two creative minds behind the Conductor RX, Dr. De Abreu Garcia and Dr. Sozer, from the University of Akron's Electrical Engineering Department.
In terms of the underground power lines, we essentially what typically happens is that you have vaults that are underground, and there are gases that are naturally present in there. Some of them come as a result of breakdown in the insulation of these cables. Especially in areas like Northeast Ohio, when the snow melts and mixes with the salt, that salty water leaks inside the vaults, and it falls on the insulation, and if the insulation breaks down to the point where it gets down to the conductor, then sparks can take place, and as a result you end up with an explosion.
Is there anything that Akron's doing to prevent this power outage from happening?
Definitely. The university has gained the support of Exactor Inc. and 40 utility workers to come up with a solution, the Conducto RX.
So what we came up is we called active clamp technology. It predicts the performance of the power lines non-intrusively and non-destructively.
See, this new innovative technology sounds perfect. You can go in, you can find the problem. You don't have to shut anything down, so you're not checking every single cable, every wire. You're in there finding the problem. Plus, like you said, it's a detector, so you don't have to send somebody down there. This is kind of like a drone thing, or do we have people that are actually manning this equipment?
You have people who are manning the equipment. The utility workers are hands-on with this project, definitely. Just the project makes it easier for them to deal. The Conducto RX has a predictive software, so it can actually let you know when the fires are about to happen. And it automatically stores and records test data, so you don't have to redo everything all over again.
Plenty of universities conduct research, but the University of Akron's engineering department sets itself apart by applying their research into solutions for the market.
We are research institutions, but we also collaborate with the industry. So we are always look for what industry needs or what utility needs, and also we try to advance the current status of the science and engineering, and then do our best to improve on the research.
Over the past 7 years, we've brought nearly $20 million in research funding to the university. We have support from the university, we have support from the state, and we have support from industry, and Exactor Incorporated is one of the companies with whom we're working. We picked them as our commercialization partner because of their experience in this particular field and their ability to do the marketing and manufacturing.
With this technology, they can predict future problems, check patterns to see what may have caused the malfunction in the first place, and really make it a safer environment for these workers. That's amazing. I'm Matthew Barnhart. This has been Taya Myers, and we are on 300 Seconds of Science. Back to you, Karen.
That is unbelievably impressive.
Yeah, getting a chance to talk with Dr. De Abreu Garcia and Dr. Sozer was hard because they're so busy creating new innovations to come out of the engineering department in Akron.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it. I mean, after seeing features like that, it really makes me realize why I am a communication student.
Same here. They're driving the force of Akron, and it makes you just want to do more for Akron.
Yeah, that's awesome. Moving to Mental Health Awareness Week, which has been happening on campus, and UA students are taking action.
Amanda Marotta has the story.
You're not alone. Have the courage to talk to someone.
You don't have to go through anything alone.
Asking for help doesn't make you less strong.
Asking for help shows you're strong. Do something about it.
We're all in this together.
We're all in this together.
It's okay to not be okay.
Taking action.
Here at the University of Akron, students from Student Athletic Advisory Committee, also known as SAC, put together Mental Health Awareness Week here on campus.
Mental health is everything that's related to your social, psychological, and overall mental well-being. So it has to do with how you deal with stress, relate to others, just your overall emotions and feelings.
Although SAC is only available to Division I athletes, their goal is to not only spread awareness to athletes, but to everyday people as well.
1 in 4 students deal with a mental health challenge. Normally, people focus on the physical health of people way more than mental health. For example, like for our sports, we have training rooms that are there to help us with our physical injuries. So if we roll an ankle or get a sore muscle, they're always there to help, and nobody feels embarrassed to go get help for that. But when it comes to going to see a dietitian for an eating disorder, or going to see a psychologist for stress or whatever other depression issue you're going through, people find that kind of embarrassing, and they also don't know where to go because the resources aren't as well known on campus.
A lot of people feel like they have to be strong. We're athletes, we have to be tough, we have to come off a certain way. But for these mental health illnesses, getting help doesn't mean that you're weak. It actually shows that you're strong. So I'm really passionate about trying to change the stigma associated with it, show people that it's okay not to be okay, and really make it the norm to go seek help for mental health illnesses.
This has been Amanda Marotta for Lights Camera Akron.
Thanks, Amanda. The University of Akron is continually working to embrace its diversity.
With the annual Rethinking Race Week going on, our own Cortez Grayson spoke with one of the contributors to hear his story.
The University of Akron hosted their annual Rethinking Race Week, giving UA students exposure to the many cultures here on campus. I got the chance to sit down with one of the speakers, Dr. Willie Miguel Ramos, a professor at Florida International University, who teaches anthropology, sociology, and history. Dr. Ramos, who's born in Cuba, is also a priest of the Lukumi religion and studies its origins, which began in Africa.
Lukumi is a religion that came over from Africa with the slave trade. The first arrivals, you could say, came over in the latter 18th century. Throughout the 19th and 20th century, the religion began to expand in Cuba, not only to include people of African descent, but also anyone. It was a very open system for anyone who wanted to access it.
Dr. Ramos continues to spread the Lukumi religion, but negative stereotypes about Lukumi have made their expansion difficult.
How do we spread the word about Lukumi religion? Well, the first thing that we need to do is demythify some of the misconceptions, some of the demeaning and belittling presentations and depictions that we get through the media that we're now getting through Hollywood as well. Unfortunately, Western society has imposed on anything non-Western, and especially religions or traditions that stem from the dark continent. That in and of itself is a loaded statement. What does dark mean when they refer to the dark continent? That is the perception that the media continues to follow to this day.
Dr. Ramos explains the benefits of the Lukumi religion and the positive impact he's had on fellow believers.
The most fascinating thing is the rewards that I receive when I see that someone who has come to me for assistance has actually found a solution to the life problems that they've come to ask for, right? That, to me, is the most rewarding element.
The Lukumi religion is based off of the African diaspora, which explains how people from all over the world originated from African descent.
The African diaspora is important to all of us because we all are part of the African diaspora, whether our ancestors originated on the continent or elsewhere. In one way or the other, everyone in the Americas was connected to the African diaspora, some more so than others. The African diaspora to me is important because it defines who I am. Right now you see a white man, you see a white Cuban man sitting before you with green eyes, you expect me to have European origins. I recently did a DNA test and I discovered that on my mother's side I'm 65% Congo. So that being said, no one in the Americas is totally free of Africa.
During his lecture at Rethinking Race Week, his objective is to inform his audience that all beliefs are interconnected.
What I want my students to take out of my classes is that humanity as a whole has different approaches to the divine, but belief is universal. Okay, if we talk about African religions or any religion, I think we all share the same common goal, the same common interest, which is the well-being of humankind.
This has been Cortez Grayson. Lights, camera, Akron.
I love stories like this. It lets you appreciate people for their different backgrounds without just critiquing them or judging them right off the rip.
I agree, and I think the university does as well, considering they keep bringing back Rethinking Race Week year after year.
It's about that time to take our next commercial break. Don't go too far. Lights, camera, Akron. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to Lights, Camera, Akron. Up next, we'll toss it to Heather Daniels, who has our headlines for us today. Welcome to the studio, Heather.
Thank you so much for having me today.
What headlines do you have for us?
University of Akron commits to give real students real-world hands-on experience through its newly formed Experiential Learning Center for Entrepreneurship and Civic Engagement, also known as the EXL Center. The new facility will give UA students the opportunity to expand their career future by providing real-world hands-on experience. The EXL Center officially launches Wednesday, March 2nd. University of Akron student Haley Strub has been awarded 2016 Jim Butler Collegiate Award and a $500 scholarship. Strub received the recognition for creating successful Facebook advertising campaign for her independent business. Now, in last week's headline segment, we mentioned Medal of Honor recipient Kyle White, who has spoke here on campus February 19th. I got the chance to speak with the former sergeant about his time in the military as well as his life after service. On November 8, 2007, former Army Sergeant Kyle White and his platoon embarked on a mission in Afghanistan.
If you've seen the terrain, I don't know how any of them survived that. I really don't. I mean, there was nowhere for them to go, and they were completely surrounded. It was really bad out there.
During the mission, White was shot at and knocked unconscious. Once he returned to consciousness, several of his fellow soldiers were either wounded or dead. White not only saved himself, but the rest of his team, and returned them to safety.
Well, really, during the moment, the only thing that was going through my head is, I have a job to do. And it's really tough to explain, but when you're in that situation, you're not really thinking, you're relying on the training that's been, pounded into your head over the years, and going through my head at that moment, and each moment throughout the firefight, it was really, hey, I know I need to do this, let's get this done.
Sergeant White was awarded for his heroic performance by receiving the prestigious Medal of Honor.
The Medal of Honor is the nation's highest award for valor. It's given for an act or acts in which somebody puts, their life in danger to either help or aid their battle buddies. And, typically it's for acts that go above and beyond the typical call of duty. So yeah, this is what the Medal of Honor looks like up close. You can always tell if somebody's wearing the original one or not, because you are entitled as a recipient to have a duplicate, but only the original will have the actual inscription on the back of, who it was awarded to.
Along with receiving the recognition, the Medal of Honor ceremony was held inside the White House, with President Barack Obama issuing the award.
It was an interesting experience receiving the Medal of Honor. I'd say it was actually quite humorous at multiple points, because the process of how it goes before it's awarded, you meet with the president in the Oval Office, and he actually signs the award, and it makes it official. And so, I was always expecting, to be a very formal introduction and stuff, and we were waiting outside of the Oval Office, and it is actually, he just whips the door open, and it's like, hey, I'm, Barack Obama. It's like, I know who you are,
Former military members often struggle with the transition to civilian life, but White had a different mindset while entering his new life after service.
That transition from, the military to, civilian life and college environment was challenging. And for me, what I did to kind of aid in that transition is I treated college as my next mission. And so in every mission in the military, you have a planning phase, and you have, benchmarks along the way that's going to take to, accomplish your overall mission. Really, I made college my mission. I have to get through this semester, I have to get these classes done, I have to do, these set benchmarks in order to accomplish my mission, which was to earn my degree and move forward in my life.
The University of Akron was fortunate to have Sergeant White speak on campus due to a connection dating back to White's time in the Army.
I was happy to be able to speak here at the University of Akron today, because one of the Master Sergeant David Zwick, who's here, he runs, an aspect of the ROTC program. And, during those firefights in my deployment to Afghanistan, he was one of the squad leaders in my platoon. And I've learned so much from him over the years. So any chance, I can hang out with him and then try to, help hopefully some future generations of leaders, kind of learn some lessons that I learned, I jumped on the opportunity.
This has been Heather Daniels for Lights, Camera, Akron.
A Medal of Honor recipient.
Yeah, and he came to the University of Akron.
That's a big deal. That is a huge deal.
It's phenomenal. All right, everyone, that concludes our show for today. But before we go, don't forget to check out our social media pages.
You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube page at ZTV-LCA.
Thanks for watching this episode of Lights, Camera, Akron.
We'll see you next time.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. To find out how you can make Emmy-winning media, visit the UA School of Communication online. ZTV. Make media. Make a difference.